All right, Triple G, a living legend in the
Come on,
flesh.
man.
Come on. I mean, you may still have the baby face here, but you also might be the greatest middleweight of all time, Triple G. So pleasure to talk to you as always, sir.
Anytime.
I
Anytime, man.
mean, what a time to be alive. A trilogy fight for all four super middleweight belts against Canelo Alvarez. Saturday, September 17th, Las Vegas, the Zone pay-per-view. Gennadiy, let's start right here. Why did it take 4 years to get to fight number three?
This is not a question to me. I insisted on Trilogy on the next day after the judges gave the victory to Canelo.
I can understand that. I want to ask you the question most people are thinking, and that's about your feelings. Is the wound still sore about the judging against Canelo, about the steroid test, about everything that has played up a rivalry? Are you still upset at Canelo? Where are you emotionally entering this third fight?
Well, I just stepped over it. I say I took it very easily. I understood what was going on. It didn't affect me. I realized that it was just the business, just part of the sport. So don't pay too much attention to this and don't word it this way. Otherwise, it might get personal with you, you know?
No, I don't want bad blood with Triple G here, believe me. Your coach, Johnathon Banks, was not your trainer for the first two fights. So, how would you describe, if at all, that you're different as a fighter under Johnathon Banks than compared with Abel Sanchez?
Definitely, I'm a different boxer now because I added a variety of my skills, of my style, of the school, plus my age plays a role, and my current position. This fight is going to take place in different weight class, and JB was able to bring what the School of Krong Gym has to offer, and he showed it to me. And addition to that, I'm working with the nutritionist, I'm working with a conditions trainer, and all that plays a big role in like bringing additional variety, making me a different boxer than I used to be, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the results have been great. You haven't lost since that second Canelo fight. Gennadiy, I'm like most of the media. I thought you won the first Canelo fight and the second one, to be fair, but the judges didn't. Do you need to change at all how you approach fighting Canelo to make sure you get your hand raised in the third one?
Um, it's hard for me to say what needs to be changed, because it does not depend on me. Of course, I know that I need to get in the ring and show the best of me, best of boxing, best of what I have. At the same time, we're talking about human factor here. We're talking about honesty, fairness, qualification of judges, um, and um, sometimes you need to be, like head and shoulders over your opponent to be delivered like a victory, or like by scoring, as the last fight shown, because you saw the scores and the scores did not reflect what we saw in the ring. It was not as close as the short score. So we're talking about human factor here.
Well, let's talk about your superhuman factor, and that's your chin. Gennadiy, nobody's been able to drop you, wobble you, hurt you. I saw Canelo in that second fight land some right hands that would have sent a lot of people out of the ring. How would you gauge his power compared to other opponents in your career?
Well, he's a powerful fighter, no doubt about that, and we saw that in different fights. And he just didn't manage to do that in our first two fights, and so I don't know what else to add here. So that's that's who I am.
That's incredible. I give you credit. Look, as we talk about a third fight, every media member I talk to, every fan, they tell me the same thing. This one's going to be a brawl, the biggest action fight of the trilogy. This one's going to end in knockout. What do you think when you hear that?
Well, it's a third fight. It's our like in our trilogy, and of course, it's a very promising fight. I can only hope that this fight will go into history as one of the like best fights, interesting action-packed fights.
I hope so too, Gennadiy. When Marquez fought Pacquiao a fourth time and won, he felt like he won the whole rivalry because he felt the judges got it wrong a lot, more often than not. If you beat Canelo in the trilogy, will you have won this entire rivalry in your eyes?
Well, I think any athlete has the right to sort of like ride his best moment, and say things that they want to say when the way they feel it and express themselves. And of course, this fight, I hope it's going to be interesting. I hope I will win. And at the same time, I don't think we should forget about the first two fights because the first two fights were very interesting, fascinating, exciting fights. And the judging is a different story, but the fights themselves were interesting and they will be remembered. So it just would not be right to uh, basically rely fully on the outcome of the third fight and forget about the first two. We're not crossing out the past. So at the same time, I hope that this is going to be a great fight.
Gennadiy, when people are linked historically, think Gotti and Ward, sometimes they become best friends. They have so much respect for each other. Are you and Canelo gonna, go off for breakfast the next morning after the trilogy? Will you get back to a level of respect, maybe friendship, after having three marquee pay-per-view fights together?
That's a very interesting question, and I'll be honest with you. I'm an open person, and I'm open to a friendly relationship. We are kind of like brothers in arms. We are in the same field, in the same business, which is very dangerous, and so I'm open. Um, on the other hand, looking at his behavior, at his like way of thinking, his logic, how he is like high in the clouds, and the words he's uttering, all that is unacceptable. That's just improper way to behave. So I would say anything is possible. On the other hand, like people learn from their mistakes, people can make certain conclusions and change, but looking at him, I don't think he is able to do that now.
Gennadiy, I don't know how much, being that you're still fighting, that you get nostalgic and look back at what you've accomplished, but you've got the middleweight record for title defenses. You had a knockout streak, multiple titles. At 40, if you beat a guy that to me is still the number one fighter in the world, what does that mean for your legacy at this age to do something like this in the third fight of maybe the best rivalry of this era?
Um, well, that would be amazing. And I'll tell you more, that would be just a historic event. And that's how people turn into idols, into legends. If we take like Tom Brady, if something like that happens, like, people start like telling stories, like you go into history with something like that. And sport needs that, like different sports, they need that. At the same time, there's a human factor. Like I said, there are judges who might not be that interested in this happening based on like their agenda, because sometimes people don't think about tomorrow. They think about today. uh, Give me what it is now, and let's forget about what's going on later. So that might happen too.
Okay, because of that factor, the human element, some might say take the fight out of the judge's hands and focus your game plan on scoring a knockout. It sounds easy, but how much do you think about that heading into this third fight?
Mhm. Well, easier said than done. And of course, hypothetically, the approach is clear, like on paper, let's score a knockout, let's take it out of judges' hands. But at this level, with these opponents, and I'm talking about both opponents for this fight, it's a very hard thing to do.
I want to ask you here, Gennadiy, you're 40. I'm 44. It's hard for me to recover when I play basketball. You're a world-class athlete. I get that. How have you tailored your offense for the reality is that you might not be as quick as you once were? Yeah,
mm-hmm. Right, you know how I feel right
now. You feel like you're 25, right? I bet. You're right.
Well, I'm just a human. 2 legs, 2 arms, and people who were 40, who were in my shoes, understand what I feel now. Younger athletes, maybe not yet, but those who turned 40 already, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
I hope to look and feel like you do someday at 40. I don't know. I think it's too late. Gennadiy, let's close right here. This fight means so much, really. You would have a chance to have beaten every opponent you faced. It means the world. If you're telling me it's not about revenge, how about the people in your life, your wife, your children, your managers, everyone that's been with you on this journey? Even the fans, I feel like the fans want you to finally get a win in this series. How much support do you feel that people are giving you just because it's Canelo?
Thank you for this question. This is very interesting. And, it's a crazy story worth for a documentary. And that's what we're going to use it for. You'll participate and you'll say how it all was. You'll tell the story in detail. So let's leave it until then.
And if you get your hand raised in fight 3, the story will be a triumphant one. Gennadiy, thank you for your time. I wish you the best. Always a gentleman. It's been a joy to cover your career. And this fight may be the biggest of your entire career. I'm happy that you're here, Gennadiy. Thank you for taking the time.
Thanks, thanks, like anytime, of course.